And I, Soumya Sharma,
welcome you to the third session of Erudition 18. The theme for the session is Growth Marketing, a Change in the Making. Over the last few years, growth marketing has helped redefine the goal of marketing. Successful marketing is no longer only about the top of the funnel and acquiring customers. It is about acquiring customers that are going to stick around. Growth without retention is not growth after all. Growth marketing is all about one thing: attracting more engaged customers. Growth marketing is removing the boundaries of marketing to enable every aspect of the customer experience to focus on attracting more engaged customers. For meaningful growth, companies and startups must completely change the rules of traditional channels or innovate outside of those growth channels. They have to dig deep.
by being intimately familiar with the customer journey and the data behind it, growth marketers identify the messaging that resonates best with their audience and obliterates the barriers between potential users and product.
We would now like to introduce our esteemed panelists. First, we have Mr. Joy Pradeep Sengupta. Mr. Joy Pradeep Sengupta is a PGDCM from MICA with over 13 years of post-qualification experience in leading organizations such as Vodafone Idea Limited, Vodafone, Hutchison Whampoa, Orange, and Reliance Infocom. He is also pioneering the usage of AI-based chatbots in telesales to generate better cost efficiency. He was also the Vice President, Sales Distribution at Vodafone. He has been part of core teams of many greenfield projects like launching the 3G bar 4G GTM, SME, smartphone, and digital channels. He is among the top 25 national leaders and graduated to be one among 18 top global leaders in Vodafone Group in 2017. He had joined Vodafone as part of their pioneer batch of National Management Trainee Program in 2005. He was also crowned the Employee of the Year for a total of 5 times. We are pleased to have you with us, sir. May we please have our team convention member, Neha, to felicitate sir.
Next, we welcome our esteemed panelist, Ms. Savya Gulati. Ms. Savya Gulati is a comprehensive marketing specialist with proven expertise in brand management. Throughout her experience of over 13 years, she has been efficiently involved in ATL, BTL, online retail communication strategy, customer relationship management, sales analysis, and mentoring with an aim to enhance organizational performance. She has worked with Merlin Entertainments and British multinational retailer Marks & Spencer India as Chief Manager Marketing. Ma'am has also worked for companies like Indo Exports and Soft Options at the beginning of her career. She holds a master's degree in marketing and communication from National Institute of Advertising, Delhi. We are pleased to have you with us, ma'am. We request team convention member Adisha to felicitate ma'am.
We now welcome a wizard with over 20 years of experience in the marketing domain. He has a successful track record of launching and managing businesses and brands, managing product portfolio, building go-to-market strategy, delivering long and short-term marketing solutions, delivering on business goals, managing cross-functional teams, and driving marketing ROI. Currently the CMO of Magic Break,
being undertaken by the company as it strengthens its product portfolio and undertakes several benchmark consumer experience initiatives. With Ford since 2003, Sir has held several responsibilities across product strategy, sales, and marketing in India as well as Asia Pacific region. With immense experience in conceptualizing and executing brand launch campaigns, he has been involved in development and launch of some of Ford's most successful nameplates, that is Ford NextGen, Ford Figo, Ford EcoSport, Ford Aspire, and Ford Endeavour in India till date. He has also served as B-Car product marketing lead for Ford Asia Pacific based in Shanghai during 2010 to 2013, contributing towards development of Ford EcoSport and NextGen Figo and Aspire. Sir is an MBA from Faculty of Management Studies, Delhi University. He did his bachelor's in mechanical engineering from Delhi College of Engineering. We are pleased to have you with us, sir. We request our team convention member, Neha, to felicitate sir. Next, we welcome our esteemed panelist, Ms. Chetna Mittal, an innovative marketing professional who is passionate about creating customer-oriented, market-differentiating solutions to drive business outcomes and sustain growth momentum. She currently leads NRI and insurance marketing for global consumer bank, Citibank India. She has handled diverse roles across sales and portfolio management apart from marketing, which has given her a good understanding of customer behavior across the consumer life cycle, an effective ingredient for creating hard-hitting marketing propositions. She has spearheaded the marketing launch of many strategic products, partnerships, and platforms at Citi, along with the business teams and other stakeholders. Some of the notable ones include launch of India's first 24-hour online sale on the lines of America's Cyber Monday, Citi partnership launch with its lead life insurance partner in India, launch of a priority banking segment for the millennials, a 360-degree mobile-first, social-led campaign created on the back of consumer voice. These projects have been highly honored and awarded at several well-known, esteemed international and national forums which recognize excellence in marketing. She is also an integral part of the team that has helped build and develop Citi as an innovative and customer-centric financial brand in India. She has recently been featured in the 50 most influential financial services marketing professional listing by the World Marketing Congress. She is a dynamic professional with never say die attitude, having a zest for life and excellence. We are pleased to have you with us, ma'am. We request our team convention member Atisha to felicitate ma'am.
A change, and there are certain organizations here sitting on this panel that have seen the entire change from traditional marketing now moving into more data-driven, digitally communicating, where social media are we leading with the change? Are we ready to adapt to change, and so on? Yeah, so we start with maybe automobile.
I was wondering what am I going to contribute. So interesting question to start with. In terms of the shift that we are seeing from traditional, so I come from a very traditional company, right? Traditional industry, traditional company, over 100 years old. We are trying to learn this and learning and failing. And I think the journey has just begun as far as we is concerned. But I just want to kind of make one, I think I'll just trigger it and then give it to my panel members without taking too much of time on this one. The key question in my mind is always when we think about these things, marketing is always about growth, right? It's the engine of the growth or the propeller. I think the context has changed. The kind of businesses which are coming, the product life cycles or the business life cycles, they are very, very different than probably what we are used to. And even in our industry, the product life cycle is going through a tremendous change. While we are still core engineering and it takes much longer, but the consumer is way ahead. And I think it's ultimately it boils down to consumer and where consumer is, and everything has to kind of come and work around the consumer. So we are trying to learn, we are trying to catch up, we are failing, stumbling. Some of the kind of tools and techniques we're not just using in marketing area, but we're also trying to bring those thinkings into how we design and develop our products. So I'll just pause there and then pass it on to Joy.
Hi guys. So I think thanks for also I wanted to make it interactive as well. And so the question to you is that who among you do not use a mobile phone? People sitting out here. Zero. So where do I get growth? Yeah, so as a marketeer, as a salesperson in this room, and I assume that none of you guys would feature in the traditional segment of people having disposable income. Right? Are you guys placed somewhere or part of any organization yet? Anyone? So, zero disposable income, 100% penetration of an industry. Right? So where did we get the growth? So the next question that comes, okay, how many of you use Vodafone or Idea? Okay, so 50-60%. Yeah. So that's where the question comes for traditional organizations like us of growth marketing. So first of all, there are two things. One, there is a huge population of people like you who would be moving from money from parents to your own money, which is the rising economy, right? The second, among this 100% penetrated market, we still have a chance of another 40% who are using our friends, and we try to woo you and tell you that get on board with us, this is a better experience, and you get better content with us, right? So that's the meaning of growth marketing in a digital organization like us.
Great. I think banking would also be similar. It's, I think there'll be loyalist. There is a lot of, I don't think how do you actually think that you can get more and more people? Somebody who's loyal to you will probably stay loyal. If they're not banking with you, they're banking with someone else. So how do you break that? And it's something where you have to put in a lot of faith. So you have to build in that journey. There's a lot of trust. There's a lot of, that's very challenging. Yeah.
That's right, Savia. I think that's a very pertinent question as well. So banking industry, I think when we're discussing, we're having this very critical discussion, and everybody said banking is fairly evolved and banking has a lot of data, etc., which is very, very true. So like Savia said, we offer a lot of products and services, and hence we of course look at overall profitability of the customer, current profitability and future profitability. So we are looking at the customer lifetime value. And if you really ask me, or if I really tell you about it, how are we really enabling that? We are probably doing cross-sell, we are doing upsell, and not just that, but we are also now, currently, if you ask me where the shift has happened from traditional to now, is that we are also partnering with other brands which are integral part of your lives today. So whether it be a Vodafone or a Magic Bricks or just any other brand, Apple brand, Amazon, etc., etc. This is where, the truth is that this is where you guys are. So what do we want to do as a bank? We will actually derive value by partnering with these brands, so we become an integral part of your life, where you are in your entire life cycle. So what we look at is deriving value not just by one customer journey, customer purchase journey, but it is about the entire customer life cycle. And that in itself is rested on three pillars essentially. So it is typically backed by data, big time. It is backed by data insights that we have, which we get from a lot of places. There's data overload. The second piece is how do we reach out to you in the way that you want to be reached out to. If you are reading newspaper online, then maybe doing a print ad is not something that is in for you. So how do we ensure that we reach out to you in the right manner? If you are really consuming videos, what format are you consuming information today? Do you like to really read terms and conditions, manuals, or do you want to see a 15-second video about how to operate a gadget that you've just bought from a partner? So it is about how we create relevance for our customer base across the journey and make this experience very, very seamless. So that is my long answer to your short question, as I pass the baton to Mr. Fisk.
All right. Being the odd one out because I am supposedly representing the new age industry here. But let me tell you, we work, while we are a new age platform, we use technology to create new value propositions for consumers and deliver newer values. But we work in a very, very traditional industry, which is real estate. And in many ways, nothing can be as traditional as real estate because it's a purchase of a lifetime and you don't have repeat purchases happening there, a lot of them. So a lot of traditional notions of consumer retention and upselling and cross-selling to consumers do not apply automatically to real estate. Okay. Now, none of you at this point of time probably would be a target audience for me, but maybe a year from now when you are out looking for PG or rental accommodation, maybe you might reach out to Magic Bricks for some sort of solution. Now, we were talking about growth marketing, and how your colleagues spoke about how it differs from traditional marketing, and what are the new tenets and pegs on which growth marketing rests. And Sabia started this discussion by saying, let's just first understand how traditional companies are changing and embracing technology, and therefore getting to become part of growth marketing agenda. Two examples come to my mind, which I thought probably would make sense to you. One is one fashion brand, which is L'Oreal. I don't know whether to kind of caption it as a fashion brand, but okay, it operates in that space. Something very interesting, happened at L'Oreal, and they responded with amazing agility to that. Anyone or any brand which operates in fashion business, they very, very closely monitor the trends that happen on the fashion circuit to really know what are the next trends that they need to latch on to and create their products around. L'Oreal, one fine year saw that there was a particular style of coloring the hair or doing up hair was becoming very popular among girls, and especially teenage girls. And it was evident on the Paris, ramp shows and fashion week shows that this was, catching a lot of attention of young, girls. So L'Oreal typically is a company also, like a lot of traditional companies, have a certain predefined product life cycle and a product development cycle as well, right? So it goes through R&D, conceptualization, R&D, testing, and then it takes shape of a product. Then you have to kind of distribute the product. It reaches the shelf, and then the sales and marketing initiatives happen. So they also follow that traditional circle. But here, what happened is while they noticed that at the same point of time, through some marketing tools, they were also doing a lot of social media listening. Okay, and they were also listening to how young consumers are reacting to this new hairstyle or this new style of hair coloring or whatever that was happening. And typically, the case study suggests that typically L'Oreal's product development cycle was close to about 3 to 4 months. About 12 to 16 weeks from conceptualization to market shelves. In this case, what they did is they quickly developed a do-it-yourself DIY sachet, for that. And why did they do that? Because the social media listening tool told them that a lot of young girls were complaining that to get this hairstyle or this coloring, they have to actually go to a parlor and spend half an hour and spend a lot of money, and they wish they could have done it themselves, by themselves. And that was a need gap. Right, and they didn't need to do any traditional survey, market research to get to know that. Social media told them that, right? And so within a couple of weeks, they had this DIY kit ready and pushed into the market. And what happened as a result of that? That was kind of an example of agility that the organization developed. Within 1 year, that became a multi-million-dollar new business channel for them, right? So think about it. A business that did not exist, it just started with observing few trends on a fashion week show and listening to social media as to how consumers are reacting to that, and developing a product fast, sending that product in the market, and here you have a multi-million-dollar business, right? That's an example of growth marketing. And that's how you and that's how lots of traditional companies are also getting into it. I mean, we were discussing retail, Sabia, and another example comes to my mind, which I had read, which was Target is one of the largest retailers in Europe. Okay, that's like big bazaars of India. And what Target did was very, very interesting. Typically, when you go to a supermarket, you have those carts that are kept outside, and you take those carts and you go inside the supermarket and you shop. And you keep everything in the cart and then you come out, right? What they did is they made their cart GPS enabled, okay? And when as a consumer you enter the Target store, all you had to do is you were taking that cart any which way, and because the cart was GPS enabled, they were able to track every movement of you inside the supermarket. right? So which alley you are going to, which product category you are spending more time with, where you are standing, where you are not standing, etc., etc. Okay, and by the time you come out, you are at the payment counter. As it is, through digital payment and other kind of mechanism, a lot of detail of yours, your mobile number or other details, such details are already available, right? So it's very easy to kind of connect the two dots. Who's the person who was moving with the card and have their contacts, and that's what they exactly did. They figured out that there were a bunch of consumers, and large bunch of consumers, who were going to newborn baby product corners. Okay, they were going there, they're spending time, but then they're not really buying. Okay, they were going there, spending time and coming out, probably buying something else. And they hypothesized that this could be expecting parents. Okay, that they may be expecting a child in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months from now. Okay, what did they do? They immediately started pushing messages to them. Because they had those contacts, right? They had their mobile numbers and everything else, right? They started immediately pushing messages, pushing offers, pushing kind of all other kind of marketing collaterals, and the case study says that they had about 23% jump in revenues of that product category. Right? This is another example of growth marketing and how traditional brands are using technology to open up newer areas of revenue and growing businesses. So. And a lot of that is happening in our industry and our domain as well. While we are a platform, we aggregate buyers and sellers, much like Flipkart and Amazon do. But we do it for real estate. But it's such a traditional industry where we see that these experiences that we deliver gets broken many times, because it's such a touch-and-feel industry, and the gestation period is very long, the decision-making cycle is very long. Nobody buys a home like that. There is a 6 to 9 months of decision-making process that consumers go through, and then there are a lot of other complications, including loans and all other paperwork and everything else that needs to settle down. So these experiences get broken a lot many times. But the challenge, therefore, that we face as a new age organization is how do you therefore deliver that seamless experience as a growth marketing channel, and drive that experience. So traditional or new age, everyone has challenges.
I'm glad you said that about retail, because even though growth marketing is relatively new, but with competition and a lot of international brands coming in, the retailers, actually I was specifically talking about apparel retails, actually started doing a lot of data studying and consumer movement, even how lay out their stores. So we were doing heat mapping back in M&S and trying to see that when the consumer walks in, what can be the next best purchase, and that's exactly how you lay the store. And we will see where people spend, say, a minute, where are they spending about 5 minutes, and what is the movement of the consumer. And we actually get insights like fast fashion needs to be your probably the key walk-in point, but that is really where nobody's spending more than 20 seconds or 30 seconds. And then we move on to a dress section, or then we move on to a shapewear, and that's typically a woman's journey. In some of our cities, we actually thought, which are relatively still traditional cities or tier 2 cities, where the spending is still governed by the man of the house, we actually started putting kids wear next to menswear. So, I mean, this kind of intelligence, purely by seeing how consumers moving. And I mean, yes, traditionally we still have to do, if I talk about communication, we still have to do a lot of traditional marketing, because that's what the brand has been used to and that's what the consumer has been seeing. Like the Zara's or H&M's or Marks and Spencer's, I mean, they will always advertise because they're also reaching out to an audience which may not be digitally savvy today. So all of this growth marketing and digital is definitely added to revenues, but the brick and mortar format is still running, and still we need, because we're anyways giving experience and gratification, be it Madame Tussauds or be it Marks and Spencer, to the consumer once the consumer walks in. But a lot of digital techniques are being used to get insights about what the consumer really wants to see. You just see their behavior pattern, you see the affinity pattern, and then you try to give them the experience on ground. So there is a shift definitely, and I think it's just giving us so many data points. And we were just discussing that how this thing, how all the data points and intelligence is now contributing to product. Like how the new product is being innovated based on all the data points that you have. So I remember you were giving an example of cars. So would you want to deliberate a little on how your new product or design, because marketing is now not solely a function of just selling. The lines are blurring between product and the marketeers of the organization. So, yeah.
So, how we are going about it, and again, I want to kind of bring a perspective here, because there is always this new lingo in marketing or business, but the fundamentals are really unchanged, and fundamentals of marketing are pretty much the same. Product development, consumer experience, it all starts with consumers. So a couple of ways where we are using this kind of, and not necessarily in terms of acquiring new customers, because where we are focused is in giving superlative consumer experience, whether it is at the time of usage of our cars or from the point that they start engaging with us, whether it is a virtual platform or when they walk into our dealerships. So two separate pieces. One is very, very upstream product design. The way we are using or kind of the hacks is, we're no longer following traditional prototyping or testing. So one is obviously, the technology and the data that we have. We can simulate, all kind of structural driving dynamics or crash kind of testing. So that's kind of given, and we can do it in our sleep. But the new thing that we're trying to kind of learn, and which is interesting and for us, is because it's a long lead cycle to bring a product into market. It takes us from when we conceptualize to actually launch a product anything from 5 to 6 years. And in today's time, 5 to 6 years is a long period of time. So by the time we come out in the market, so for example, we missed a big trend in China recently, and which is all the screens are growing bigger and bigger, and as a result, today we are trying to catch up. So we're trying to avoid that, and the process that we're using now in product development and designing is rapid prototyping, and which is,
or in whatever time. The truth is that if we are not able to target the customer properly and have a very smooth journey, then we have lost you. There are different stages of your life cycle, of your purchase cycle. So let's say you see an ad of ours, and you said Apple or maybe a OnePlus is getting launched, and this is the offer we have for you. So you love the ad, you have been thinking about buying this phone. But let's say, for some reason, you do not click on my ad. So I have lost you there. Another friend of yours probably moved forward and clicked on the ad. Once you click on the ad, you probably move to my offer page, where I'm telling you about what is the offer, what are the terms and conditions, etc. Maybe your friend dropped, and another friend probably moved forward, and then moved on to complete the journey. So this is an example of a very, very small journey. But the truth is that now, with more than 40% of our campaigns, for example, moving to digital, and most people going digital, the truth is that we have to build seamlessness, and that is where the importance of remarketing comes into play. So at every stage and point, we have to really reach out to you and say, hey, listen, you were trying to complete a purchase, but it seems that something went wrong, so can we help you? And that, of course, can be worked out by either digitally, so we can reach out to you through a mobile notification, an emailer, or maybe a Chrome notification, which is that instant pop-up. The moment you drop off, another 10 minutes and you see a pop-up. So probably it is more pertinent that you can come back into the journey. Because there's no point if I show you the message one day later, maybe you've lost interest, you have a better offer, some other competitor has already got you, right? So it is about how you reach out, and there are different ways to reach out to a customer, right? If I know that I'm talking to you, who is my existing customer, maybe I'll use custom audience, which is a tool which is available with, so right now these days social has a lot of these tools. So Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever you may talk, all of these places I today can use my data insights that I have in the bank, which is my internal repository, and map it with what you have in the market. So I know that this is my customer, this is a guy who opened the account with me 6 months back, and he's on Facebook. And I can then target you there. Or he's on LinkedIn, or he's on a video. He's watching video on YouTube. And that is where I can actually take you. So remarketing plays a very important role when you want to optimize your entire consumer journey. Yeah, so net, That is how we are really fueling growth, and this is how retention typically happens. When you build a series of engagements, interventions constantly, and of course you have to seamlessly do it. And I'll take another minute because I'm remembering of another example. So in the introduction, somebody did say that we launched India's first 24-hour online sale. Now what was that? That is a time when probably a lot of these e-com players had not even started thinking about these regular discount messages that you get. Probably now we feel that they are spamming your inbox, etc. But you know, that is a time when we are thinking that, okay, how do we do value add to our customers' lives? The truth is that today we want to drive card usage, but why is the customer going to use the card? You may have, you may not have a need for it. But if you have a need, you will of course use it. But if you get some deep discounts, because that is the true human nature. If you get a good deal, you definitely will at least visit my page once. So we built a platform where we put together some favorite retailers of our customer base, and we got some exclusive deals only for our customers, which was limited only for 24 hours. And the kind of traction we had on this, which was probably unparalleled at that time. So at the partner, we found almost 8x to 10x spends. The volumes went up immense. And importantly, we were able to activate our debit card customers and credit card customers. So people who were sitting on the fence, who had not engaged with the brand earlier, but suddenly they were up and they said, oh wow, Citi has this, and now they can probably think of looking at us for other products. So here is what we will try to do to sort of again retain, to sort of take them forward in the journey, and hence again look at a consolidated value, what we can derive out of them. So it is not just one intervention. What is most important is that we look at series of interventions which really pulls the customer along. And will build loyalty, satisfaction, NPS, brand preference, all that comes along with it. Right?
I'm glad you talk about customer loyalty. So I have an example from back in Marks and Spencer days, and it's amazing because we were studying the competition and seeing with e-commerce coming in and cheaper products. Marks and Spencer is an average bid value above 2,000 because it's an expensive brand. We really saw that 86% of our sales were coming from loyal customers, and loyal customers were targeted at people purchasing more than 3 times in a year with you. And we also saw increase in basket value, increase in the number of BUs they were building, because while we were still traditional and we had just launched a loyalty program, we were sitting on good data. We had we had about 1 million loyalty customers, and it was a 1% return program, unlike anyone else. So for every $100 you spend, you get a 1 point, which is equivalent to 1 rupee. So it was crazy. We started doing things like, if you're a loyalist, you get the first preview of the sale. So we used to open stores at 8:30 a.m. and have them come in, like the top stores, and you buy that. And these kind of gratifications, call them for listening groups, involve them in product, involve them in new season range, try out stuff with them. So that is something that we were doing offline, but we were also getting into trying and seeing that what can be the next best purchase for this customer. So like she said, identify the need of the consumer. So if we've seen that there is this one gentleman who's always been buying formal shirts from me, and for some reason has never bought trousers. So what is it? Is it a fitting issue? Is it a pricing issue? Or what is it? So we would then create these customized newsletters and offers that would explain benefits of trousers, give them an offer on trouser, do something. So at any given point of time, we had nothing less than 30 to 40 customized campaigns running for those kind of targeted consumers. So sitting on data, sitting on their purchase data, affinity, and then you layer it up with the kind of brands they're engaging on social media. So are these the kind of customers that are only shopping with us during sale or online just buying deals? Where is the traffic going? When we're talking about a product and we're talking about product benefit, specific to Marks and Spencer, where innovation and quality was very important, and specifically in categories like lingerie and kidswear. So are people really going for quality because the product was more expensive? Are they reading about the innovation? So yes, we know that there is this person who does not care about value but is very, very sure about quality. So keep communicating to them about quality around different BUs, all of that. So the whole journey. Until date, there is a business of 87%, 89%, which is now growing year on year, coming from loyal customers. It is difficult to get new people in, but I think because of competition and e-commerce, of course, is taking over the bargain thing. But to retain consumers, I think we have to get into the nerve of how they behave and what are they expecting from, I mean, we should know. We need to give them that personalized treatment, and I think that's where the whole data, behavior, all of that comes in. But I would also want to know from Prasul, real estate, which is very traditional, and you could never think of anyone going online and getting any kind of information on retail, on real estate. You typically have, just like jewelry, right? You have a typical dealer or someone you believe in, and that's your man to go to. So how does this happen? How do you drive traffic? How do you build that relationship? And then once that's built, how do you retain that? I mean, it's a very, very high involvement product.
Oh yes, it is. I'll try to answer this in the context of growth marketing that we're talking about here. And yes, real estate is as traditional as it is. But as Joy was saying that, the beginning of growth marketing is actually growth hacking, right? And growth marketing is nothing but organized growth hacking, right? And what you do is you look at an industry, you look at what are the pain points that consumers are going through, while they are consuming that product in that industry, and you try to think of an idea which can disrupt that process, which can bring some sort of value to consumer. It could be convenience that typically platforms like us, e-com platforms, largely bring to consumers. It could be time to market, which can be a big benefit for someone who wants to sell something, or it could be many others, right? Yes, as an aggregation platform, there's a lot of hacks that happens, and I would want to give you one example, because when you're thinking of growth marketing, obviously the two pegs on which growth marketing rests, as your colleagues were saying when they were introducing, was data and agility, and they did mention that these are two pegs on which growth marketing agenda sits, and everyone spoke about how data is playing a crucial role more and more in even traditional thinking and traditional marketing setups. Now, if you look at typically data and agility and usage of data, you would obviously think that it's all about moving online. It's all about going online, right? And if you have to get into growth marketing and growth hacks, you have to think something which is online, which is using data and therefore is using technology in a certain manner. I'll give you an example to the contrary. Okay, we are an online player. We are brought up online, and so virtual reality as technology for consumers, where they don't have to run around. They can, at the convenience of sitting somewhere, just using a VR gear, see a whole lot of projects and sample flats, and then take a decision. And whatever you shortlist is the place that you finally go and visit, right? So it would have taken away a huge pain point of consumers. And so we created a solution where we called it experience centers. These were physical experience centers that we have just put up in Bangalore and Pune. We are doing a pilot with it, and these physical experience centers are at malls, at airports, where you can just in your free time. Again, when you go to these places, these are captive footfall areas, and a lot of people who go there are probably home buyers and the right target audience, and they have a lot of time in hand. Because when you're going there, you are in a relaxed frame of mind, you are kind of spending some time, and if you're going with your spouse doing shopping, you have some free time in hand, and you can do a bit more. And that is where we put this up, and using this technology, we are giving virtual experiences to a whole lot of consumers. What has it resulted in? It has resulted in conversions at the end of developers who chose to be part of that project, of that pilot, up by about 35%, right? So here's an example of a growth hack thought, by an online player getting into offline space and delivering, but using technology, of course, right? And so there are many ways to deliver growth hacks and looking at growth marketing. But I do agree that the fundamental is how do you identify what is the pain problem area, what is the pain point of the consumer, and how do you solve that problem? And solving that problem is actually growth marketing agenda. And it could be delivered through anything. It could be delivered through traditional marketing channels, new age marketing channels. It's irrespective of that, as long as you're solving that problem in a manner which has not been thought through earlier. And that's really growth marketing.
Great. I think we can keep going on and on, but I think just conscious of time, we'd like to have an open house. So any questions from anyone, please? Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, my question is to Jaypradeep sir. Sir, after the Jio entered into the market, the customer base of the other telecom companies have reduced drastically. So sir, what kind of a marketing strategy Vodafone is using to regain that customer and to regain their trust into the Vodafone?
Brilliant question. Okay, so I think what you're referring to is the published number of customers have reduced, right? But I just did a sample survey. Every one of you are using mobile phones. Okay, so what has happened is that actually customers have not reduced. There has been SIM consolidation. Previously, in the market there were 10 players. Okay, and people were shifting depending on which operator was giving that midnight offer. Okay, so for every 10 bucks less, people were shifting their SIM cards, and that was a reported number of customers. And I was delivering that stats that in Delhi the population, census population is 2.2 crores in Delhi NCR, but if we take migrants, it's around 3.2 crores. The number of reported people having mobile phones is 4 crores. Yeah. So it's not that it has reduced, there has been SIM consolidation. And that's, I can give an example of growth marketing out there. Is that, I think you said that almost 50% use Vodafone out here, right? So another 40% is left, right? How do I know? Now, if given, someone had given me this information that in this NDMC convention center, there are 100 people sitting, out of them 60 use Vodafone, 40 don't. So I will immediately bring my sales guy out here, put a canopy outside, okay, and let you sell and make you convert, right? That's option one. Second option, I think Prasoon said that, he is born digital and their entire money, whatever they have earned, has been on data. How much money has he paid to Vodafone? Zero. Right? Now can you imagine you are driving a car on road and you are not paying road tax? So there are companies who are growing like that, using data, paying zero to the person who has made the bandwidth. Okay? So that's the second revenue opportunity that we will be targeting one of them. The third for Chetra, as I said, that almost 10% of you are card users, and we have this data because all of you are connected to the Vodafone tower out here. Right? So I will immediately click a selfie and say 80 customers of Citibank available. Deal. Okay? So there are many such.
I think we already are in a partnership.
Yeah, so it's going on as of now, right? So these are various things that come up. So the whole game is not about getting fluff consumers, but actually getting share of the wallet, because cash is what matters in business. Does that answer?
Yeah. Who's next? Do you want to go next? Yes.
My question is open to the panel. In the banking and the telecommunications, to some extent, there is not much product differentiation. We've been using a product because we were made to use it somehow or the other. Until we had Vodafone's friend Jio, which almost disrupted the category, we don't find much. There is not much growth of the category. There is change in the share of the category. I mean, one player has more share than the other, and there is always a fight between. As you rightly said, that only 4 crore customers are actually there the mobile handset. How to actually drive growth and alter market share, and what insights are driving that? Yeah, question to you or either from the banking panel.
Okay, I'll just ease the job for everyone. Okay, so one correction I would want to make. Yes, there's product parity, right? You mentioned about that, right? But product differentiation is not the thing. The thing is experiential differentiation, and everyone is looking at that, right? I mean, products are easy to replicate, and you cannot have a head start. Even in automobiles, where Rahul said that they spent 6 years to bring out a car. At a certain segment level, probably you would argue that there's not much of product differentiation, right? If, what Endeavour delivers, probably Fortuner also delivers something similar, and so on and so forth, right? So it's really about experiential differentiation that everyone has to create, and that's where really growth marketing data kicks in, and maybe Joy can take from there.
Maybe I'll also just make a point here. I think what he rightly said is that if you look at it, and any product for that matter, if it's Apple, typically you have a Zara, you have a Spencer's. At the end of the day, it's a shirt. It's about whether it's an honest shirt or it's about Friday dressing, etc. But it is a formal shirt, right? And so is probably across industry. But like Prasoon said, it is about looking at creating experiences. It is about looking at who's your target segment. What are you really catering to? So if you are continuously able to deliver value to your target set, then you're probably home. And then the challenge becomes on how do you constantly engage with them so they are sticking with you. So somebody said Jio is actually capturing market share. People are moving from other players to Jio, right? And so it happens in the industry. So you have to constantly innovate, come up with newer ways to really reach out to the customers, to create those remarkable experiences that you have a differentiation in some way. So, for example, we were the first ones to launch an ATM in India. And even now today, if you see, there is a chip and pin card that we launched, which again, we were the first to enable the ATMs for that. So either you have the first mover advantage, or you look at how you are beating competition, or you are really joining hands to have a symbiotic relationship and give.
I've given my email address to many of the websites, and till date I'm getting mails that they want to crack cat and all this stuff.
So I guess in most organizations, guys, it's the privacy is a very heavy matter of concern, because see, it takes years for organizations to build brands, and we are not going to do any stupid, silly things which will create a bad name for it, and especially when it's got to do with consumers' privacy or anything to do with that. So when you're talking of information, the information which you are given was by your self-choice, okay? Then you did not opt out of it. And there are organizations who are using that to give search-based target marketing and all that. But if you're asking that if anyone is misusing information which is available, as I said, like as a telecom brand, right now I know what all things that you use, okay? But it's not available to me, being part of the organization. It's all encrypted, and there is heavy care that's taken to protect the trust of the consumers.
Right, and the brand's intention is never really to misuse that data. The whole point of getting data or monitoring your social behavior or seeing what are your likes or dislikes or what brands or what products are you engaging with is just to enhance your experience. So the idea to take your information, we're not going to gain anything by...
It was truly a thought-provoking session. I request Professor Kavita Sharma, Head Department of Commerce and Dean, Faculty of Commerce and Business, to please come on stage and felicitate our esteemed speakers with a
constant support and motivation. Words just can't express my gratitude towards Neeti ma'am for her constant support, guidance and ignoring my silly mistakes. I would also like to thank Aditi ma'am, Swati ma'am, Sarita ma'am and Megha ma'am for their constant support and time. I extend my special vote of thanks to Corporate Relations team office bearers. I would like also to thank FinCell, Consulting and Strategy Cell, IB Cell and Marcom Cell for providing constant input and knowledge regarding the event theme. My sincere thanks to HR Convention, Prakhar, Varun, Neha, for this event altogether. Finally, I now formally close Erudition 18. Thank you.
Infotech, our partners, MBA Rendezvous, NoFS.com, OCampus, Human Capital, FreshPower.com, People and Management, DU Cover, Test Funda, College Dunia, Career Anna, DU Updates, Business Manager.
Our esteemed guests, all the students are requested to kindly remain seated.